did a fantastic job with those modded classes. To use only that group as a self-sustaining, sufficient group with enough damage and all the camping skills and all that stuff to get through the entire courtyard in one single run. We had almost no blood left. We literally had 1 blood remaining by the time we got to the end boss. We had to remove an affliction. We had to get all this stuff done, and then we just absolutely crushed the Viscount. So that was really, really memorable. I am still in shock about the 2 out of 385 health where the entire team died to the Prophet, the champion Prophet in PvD. I don't know that I'll live that one down. I mean, that one hurt so bad.
I actually showed up after it happened. I think I hopped on like maybe 10 minutes, and you were still like traumatized by the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a big aspect of my stream is I try informative and positive. I want people to come here and enjoy watching me fail through it, but also handle it as gracefully as possible. And the thing is that, like, I don't typically get salty. I didn't even really get salty about that one. I just turned it into a lesson and said, we lost these characters, we'll get these trinkets back, but it's painful. It's just that when you think about what goes into leaving a boss alive, a champion Pitch Black Dungeon boss alive with 2 health out of 385, when you think about 2 different hits hitting for 1 more damage, when you think about the last blow that we dealt was literally 2 damage away from the lowest roll possible.
Yep.
Right? You think about having one character that wasn't afflicted, so I could have marked it for 3 damage. I mean, all this stuff just runs through your head, and you go, how the hell did that happen? And then, like, you know, the outcome of that is people go, you idiot, like, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you do all this? Like, because I knew that we were playing a specific strategy, and it looked attainable, and we were leaning into it. And by the point where your characters are all afflicted, your chance of retreat anyways is so minimal, a successful retreat rather, that it's often not worth it. So you kind of become committed, and so that one's a huge one. That one is a really big deal. Obviously, finally killing the darkest dungeon, beating the game the first time was really memorable. We did that with Muscarine's group, so the Profligates, which was something I think both as a tribute to Musk, because he'd become an incredible mod for me, and he actually made safe for work skin versions of his classes specifically for my stream, which I thought was just an amazing thing to do. So that was a really memorable run, and of course everybody in the community was just I mean, they were just, you know, completely celebratory for that whole thing. They were excited as hell. So that was really memorable. Yeah, and then we did the cannon the other day, the champion cannon, which I barely escaped with 2 characters at death's door, and I think was like a turning point for me, because for the most part I don't come out of that with my brain intact, and I go into bosses with too much adrenaline. So that was memorable because I got to actually escape that time and think. I'm actually thinking through the game now, and not just like being adrenaline pushed through it. You know, I'm not just being too impulsive. Those are I think if there's any, let's see. You got me thinking now, because so many crazy things have happened. We did a Pitch Black Dungeon Fanatic the other day. So the Fanatic is a rare boss that can spawn only if enough of your characters have the Crimson Curse. It's a percentage chance to spawn. It is one of the craziest and most amazing bosses in the game. It is specific to the Crimson Court DLC. It literally is a religious fanatic who has a cross or not a cross. He has a stake that he puts your teammates on and then burns them. I mean, it is insane. And when you're in the fight, the background is a field of people burning to death, and just screams and crying and music, and your heart is in your throat when you first encounter it. And Rael decided to try and adapt it for Pitch Black Dungeon. It's a different fight, and it absolutely crushed my soul. It killed 3 of my teammates, and 1 person survived with about 5 HP left and with a complete affliction. And yeah, Rael and I had a really big conversation about the balance of it after that, which was kind of fun. But yeah, everybody, that was the first time I think in Pitch Black Dungeon everybody was watching on my stream, and they just saw the group get destroyed. So that was pretty memorable.
Victorious commented in regards to your whole battle with the Prophet. to give you props is much more helpful for new gamers, herself truly, in that regard. When you see people who have been doing this game forever get beaten, but not be distraught about it, use it to learn, it helps keep you positive later and helps keep viewers interested moving on beyond that. So she just wanted me to pass that message on along to you.
That's great. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's very well said. I mean, that is definitely what I try to bring in my stream, is a sense of just learning the game. You know, this is a game where, in a similar way to the way that I move through the streaming, you just lean into it, let the net present itself, and just release the machine. Just try to move through and learn what you can, and just put the trauma, put the anxiety, put your emotions at bay for a little bit, and just try to keep your head. I talk a lot about the poker mentality, which is just trying to play your strategy, keep a cool head, and know that sometimes you're gonna get bad draws. Sometimes you're gonna get bad luck, but if you play it right, it should work out more often than not. And I think that where people go wrong in Darkest Dungeon and in a lot of games is that they get too much ladder anxiety. They don't see the bigger picture enough, and they get too focused on the single loss or the single death or the single whatever. And as a streamer, I mean, these are actually really entertaining and fun moments anyway. So thank you very much for that comment. I appreciate that.
For me, for most memorable moment, it's tied between either that Shrieker that I was telling you about, where the moment of confusion, because the Shrieker actually managed to kill 3 of my party members. I had 1 person left on death's door. They are afflicted already. I'm like, well, here comes a wipe. The thing flies away. I'm just like,
yeah, for sure.
What just happened? I'm on stream and I'm literally just freaking out, going, did I beat it? What? Ah! And the second one was on that exact same run. I was doing a siren fight, and I took a leper with me in position 1. And I wanted a leper for damage, but I intentionally took an arbalist, and I had a bunch of trinkets that increased my debuff resist. Because if your debuff resistance is high enough, she can't charm any of your people. You just burst her down, and she's absolute garbage. Yeah. So I had an arbalist with flare, which gave your party a debuff resist bonus as well. On top of it, I had the whole composition built. I took a camp beforehand. I got my leper pumped all the way up with all his damage. Like, he's just going to chop and hew her to death. It's not even going to be a damn issue. Yes, first charm. He has, like, I think plus 50% debuff resistance and everything from all the buffs and everything I put on. He instantly got pulled over. He hewed my front 2 guys, crit on both of them, and now my occultist and I think it was my Houndmaster in position 2 were both on death's door immediately from full health.
Yeah, that's a great story. Something I think or say about games is mechanics always win, and at the end of the day, the Siren is one of the most terrifying bosses, purely because to take something from your team that you have just completely buffed up like you did and see it torn back at you is it's party ending. We regularly run the Cove in Pitch Black Dungeon for the purpose of Siren farming, because you can summon bosses, mini boss versions of them, on curios. The other night we found 2 Siren curios. The first one we absolutely annihilated. We just annihilated. The second one stole, I think it was our Highwayman. The Highwayman just immediately crit to death's door with the bleed, one of my characters. I was so lucky to get it back and then just leave that group. And I mean, I was sweating balls, but I'm just completely out of my head. So that, mechanics will get you, and that's a great one. The first time you ever accidentally summon a mini boss, which is a boss version, right? It's a boss, but a mini boss version in Pitch Black Dungeon accidentally. The first time you ever do that accidentally, you are in shock. And the first time I ever played PBD, they encouraged me to put herbs on one of the etched flesh in the Warrens, which of course summons the Swine King, and I had no idea, and suddenly we're in a Swine King fight. That was terrifying. We lost 2 characters there. So yeah.
So you've been streaming you just hit 4 months recently, correct?
Yes.
And right now, I don't believe you're partnered yet, but it's looking pretty promising that partnership with Twitch is probably in the near future. What are your plans for the channel, for your community, just the direction for the games you plan to do once you get partnered by Twitch?
Oh, it's such a good question, and it's such a dream. I mean, that's really the goal here. Is I sort of set out that if I'm gonna actually do the streaming thing, I want to give it a shot. I actually want to try and see if I can do this full time. I mean, I think that's probably the dream for most people who do this. Um, I don't know. The idea that partners is something that's promising is still something that feels like a figment of my imagination. It doesn't feel real. I think that I definitely feel like it's a possibility. So I have some ideas down the line. I've definitely got a lot of design and fun things that I want to integrate with the channel, things that I want to just make the experience a more positive, more fun, more engaging place. I think that partnership will help that in a lot of ways because, as you know, with affiliation, while that's a nice stepping ladder for people who just want to get into it and try it out, it really is kind of a proof of concept, and you're not given much in terms of incentives for people to support you, much in the way of emotes, et cetera, the things that make Twitch kind of hot, right? The
Mm-hmm.
things that make Twitch kind of fun. So I feel like partnership for me means opening the door to the realization of a lot of things that I just can't do yet for the channel. A lot of things that like emotes and things that are going to be really, really fun and tied to the way that not only the games we play and the things we do on my channel, but things that we're going to do down the line. I'm always going to be playing games, I think, that facilitate a decent platform for my brand or for what I feel like I do successfully, which is heavy engagement, having a sense of being able to explain what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
break it down with people, get their input on it. That is what I absolutely adore about Twitch. That's what I think Twitch thrives on. That's why I think live streaming is challenging TV in so many different ways, and probably it's beyond that already. So I'm always going to be, I think, headed down that line. Like we are going to be doing. We're in the middle of an expert Cuphead run through. That is something completely different from what I'm used to.
Yeah.
I mean, we're halfway through the expert bosses. I'm shocked as hell that we've gotten that far through them. I love the hell out of that game for a lot of different reasons, but it is one of those games where you are just holding a controller like, and you can't pay attention to anything. You can't talk to your audience. You can't hang out with people. So the good news is you can pause it. The good news is you can kind of come out of it. It's very left field for the kind of thing that I like to do. So FTL is a big one. XCOM is another one. These are games that don't have massive audiences, but have a similar feel and play style to Darkest Dungeon. And I'm thinking that those are things that we're going to branch into a little bit more. At actually, the creators who made FTL have another game coming out pretty soon, which seems kind of similar to another turn-based thing coming out, I believe, in this month, I think. So yeah, so that's a really great question. I do know that I am in the middle of a project with several other streamers that's kind of a stream network. I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to see that grow, and we're even talking about maybe doing something involving consulting and helping other streamers get off the ground. So that might be something I become a more a part of. But I feel like all of this stuff just hinges on making that partnership goal. So we'll see. It's a great question, but honestly, I'm so focused on the now and just making the stream something entertaining and fun to be a part of that I should be looking down the road, and I'm not. I'm not enough, you know.
I'm going to say entirely on ElementFive's behalf, when he hits partnership, he will stream his first playthrough of Doki Literature Club on his stream. I'm just going to say that right now.
Love it. I love it. Thank you for that.
No problem. And now, the final but most important question of this entire stream. You're ordering a pizza.
Yes.
How much pineapple?
Oh God, how do I walk out of here and not be a meme? How do I walk through this and not be hated by one group? How do you what's the politic answer here? I mean, the funny thing is, so here's the thing.
The answer is enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe enough, or maybe even half has pineapple. Here's the thing, okay? I worked pizza for a while. So before I went to college for psychology, I did 6 years of delivery in a small kind of mom and pop pizza place. It was a New York style pizza. I really enjoyed the spicy, thin New York style, even though I'm a fan of deep dish, etc. But something we got a lot of was ham and pineapple, right? The Hawaiian pie. I wasn't totally into it, but it was free, and it was constantly something that was being ordered and either rejected or for one other reason or not just didn't get taken. So it was free, it was up on the oven, and anybody could eat it. And I got pretty used to eating it. In fact, there's a chain here called Bojo's. I don't know if it's outside of Colorado. It might be. I might be an ignoramus here, but their specialty is adding honey to what they do. So that's like a whole other step of sweet to pizza. And and that is definitely an experience when you have something very salty and cheesy and fatty, and you get a little bit of honey on top is thing. So I'm okay with the pineapple. Okay, I'm all right with it, but I understand why some people it's just not their bag.